Episode 2 of Trev's Review Show here on Trev TV. I'm the Trev. Y'all know that. If you tuned in, if you're watching. That's too sweet. Trying a different approach today. Fair, because I can, I might as well. So, the tablet. That's better. The tablet is sitting across from me, and I'm looking directly at you, and you're seeing me in my Kenny Omega t-shirt today. Because that's too sweet. Anyway, I know I call this a review show, and this will be my second ranking video. But you know what? It all fits in review. This is my review. And today I'm ranking the Avenged Sevenfold albums. I am leaving out, however, their best of album because A, it's too soon for a best of Avenged Sevenfold album, and B, no. There's only 2 songs on there, 3 if you count. There's the 2 from Call of Duty, and then there's the Black Sabbath cover. So, I mean, you can find those on iTunes, right? Or if you really want to pick up the CD just to have it for collection's sake, hey, that's your cue. I am, however, counting Diamonds in the Rough. Not the live disc. I mean, to experience Avenged Sevenfold is best done in person, not on DVD. I've seen them 3 times, and that is from the hoodie that I saw them the first time in, back in 2011. But having said all that, let's get rolling. Number 8 on our list, Hail to the King. It's not a bad album, and just because it's in last doesn't mean it's bad. I miss the double bass, I really do. And I mean, yeah, you get flashes of double bass in a couple songs, but when it's front and center and present and always should be, and it's not, oh, you really notice the difference in not just the melody, but also in the writing of the songs in general. The rev is sorely missed. And thankfully they corrected that after this album, and made another album that had a lot more double bass, like it should have been. But again, not my favorite album, but it's still okay. I'll recommend it to anybody who's looking for a riff-heavy album. Shepherd of Fire is a good favorite of mine. As for the title track, no, not a fan of the title track. Heretic's an awesome song. Coming Home is where I first noticed flashes of double bass, but then Planets is an amazing tune. A lot more melodic than what I gave it credit for on first listen, but again, if you're into a riff-heavy album, that would be your cup of tea. Next on the list, Diamonds in the Rough. A lot of people don't count this because it's a compilation album. It's all B-sides and covers and all that fun stuff, but it's still pretty sweet. I mean, if you can get past their Pantera cover or their Iron Maiden cover, it's actually got some pretty cool B-sides on it. Demons is an awesome way to start it off. Crossroads is one of my favorites. It's always on my playlist. I do actually leave the Pantera cover off because, A, I'm not the biggest fan of covers unless you're adding something new or different to it. And they didn't really add much. I mean, it was just a cover, top to bottom. Dancing Dead was a pretty cool tune as well. I'd recommend it once you get into some of the other stuff. If you can save this one for last, do it last. Up next, 7th Trumpet. Yeah, this is their debut album, and debut albums are always a nice little feeler, like get to know you, get to know all about you. But at the same time, I took this away as the Screamo record that everybody used to say, oh, well, they're a Screamo band, they're not worth to listen. It is a very Screamo record. It's a very metalcore record. It's a very prog record. It's all kinds of different styles in an Avenged Sevenfold record, and You know, if they had a couple more albums under their belt before this, it would sound a lot more like a record. But again, it's not a bad record. Tend the Rapture is a nice way to start it, and then this is probably the re-released edition because End the Rapture is the metal version, not the ballady version. Darkness Surrounding, Artist's Subconscious Illusion, which features Shadow's wife on it. Warmness of the Soul is pretty awesome. It's a good album, but if you've never listened to Avenged, start with different albums first. Waking the Fallen. This is obviously the remastered and re-released edition. I do have the original, it's just put away right now. But it doesn't take away from the record itself. I mean, sound-wise, it's the same sound. There's really no difference in, you know, production or anything like that. It's the same album. Unholy Confessions, obviously, you know, staple of their live sets. I think it's their encore for a lot of the sets. You know, Chapter 4, Remissions, Eternal Rest, Second Heartbeat. I can go on. It's a good album. It's a nice change up from Seventh Trumpet. It's not so screamo. I mean, he has his moments where he's screaming, but there's more of a range as to actually clean vocals, or even starting to develop a yarl, if I dare say a yarl. But I would recommend that, but there are better albums first. Stage. I'm not gonna lie, this record took a bit to grow on me. And again, it's not a bad record. For what it's worth, you got Brooks Wackerman on the drums. That's bliss to the ears right there. And your double bass is back from Hail to the King, where it was almost absent. I mean, for a concept album, it tells a good story. Well, the concept being on AI and the destruction of humanity and whatever else. But, I mean, when you go to the last song, Exist is a 15-minute concept in itself of the Big Bang. So that's pretty gnarly. If you're into 15-minute barely instrumentals, I recommend that song. I mean, that's making its way up there as in my list of favorite Avenged songs. But you go to the title track, it's pretty awesome. It's a nice 8.5-minute way to start the album. It's pretty sweet. Sunny Disposition I liked. Goddamn, of course I like Goddamn. It's Goddamn. I mean, look at the title. And yeah, Exist are my favorite tracks from the album. It's a good album. There are better. Top 3. City of Evil. This is when I was starting to ask questions about Avenged Sevenfold. I don't really go into digging a band blindly. So that's when I was asking people about Avenged, because I was starting to hear their stuff on the radio and through everybody else's headphones. I mean, Beast and the Harlot was a nice single to kind of say, hey, mainstream, we're here, you know. But it took me a while before I actually got into Avenged, so not to discredit this album, it just didn't get me hooked on them right away. Of course, I never did listen to the full album in its entirety when it came out. My mistake. Beast and the Harlot, Burn It Down, Bat Country, Trash and Scattered, Seize the Day, Strength of the World. I actually like that one, believe it or not. It's got some good albums. It's got some staples, and basically stuff you'd know the band of unmistakably if you've never heard them before anything else. There's still 2 albums that are better. And I say there are 2 albums that are better, that's just my opinion, and I know my whole collection will probably be countered with a few Avenged Sevenfold fans, and that's okay. You know, it's everybody's opinion. Number 2, Nightmare. This was the record I was introduced to them with. Not the record I dig, though. And that's not to say it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's an amazing album, actually. But if I'd have known of the band a little more then, I don't know if I'd ever bought it. I mean, this was made just after the Rev died, and he had Mike Portnoy on drums, and thankfully, he didn't change anything as far as drum pattern went. It was all still what the Rev written and recorded and demoed for the record. But I mean, it's a good album. It's a really good album. You know, the title track, Welcome to the Family, Danger Line, Buried Alive. I mean, your first 5 songs, counting Natural Born Killer, you don't skip. At least I don't anyway. I mean, they're awesome songs. I mean, you can't skip Go Far Away, but then you go right to God Hates Us, which is an amazing tune. Follow it out with a couple more, Fiction and Save Me. So it's got amazing songs on the record. I think Save Me is like an 11-minute song, which is pretty gnarly. I'm a fan of short songs that are awesome, get to the point, and long songs that actually tell a bit of a story. But this would be the second one I'd recommend to anybody. Number 1 on my list, and you probably know where I'm going with it. Self-titled. This is the record I wished I was introducing them with, because this is the record I like the most. From start to finish, critical acclaim, Almost Easy, Scream, Afterlife. I do skip Gunslinger from time to time. Unbound, Brompton Cocktail, Lost, A Piece of Heaven, and Dear God. There's maybe 1 or 2 that I skip, and the rest of the album is just full blast. It's pretty much organized as that order on my playlist. And still in regular rotation, despite the fact that it's an 11-year-old album. There are albums that I own that I've liked a lot longer that are still in rotation, but this almost rivals those albums. This is what I'll recommend to anybody who's never heard them. Start off with this, go with Nightmare, and then make up your mind from there. But an amazing, amazing record. So that was my ranking of every Avenged Sevenfold album, not counting their best of 2005 to 2013 greatest hits record that Warner made because they left the label and they still wanted to cash in on them. But because it's too soon for a best of album. Give them a couple more albums, see where they go from there. I mean, I don't think they've written their best material, and I imagine they've got 2 or 3 more albums in them, at least. But anyway, let me know if we agree, disagree. Hit, mention that in the comments below. Hit like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to. Find Trev TV on Facebook at Trev's TV. Find Trev TV on Instagram at rockstartrev TV. And in the meantime and in between time, keep on the lookout for more videos from the Trev. Later.